The more I learn about running a restaurant, the more in awe I am. The more I tip my cap. And to be honest, the less I would want to do it myself. It is hard work. Never mind the yes chef drama from The Bear. All over the North Country, we have local diners that are slinging it early every morning, giving us a place to eat, a place to hang our hat, a place to call our own. And it's hard work for the people who own and work in these places. A visit with the chef who does it every day in the heart of the Adirondacks on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Pearsall Wealth Management at UBS Wealth Management USA, subsidiary UBS AG, member FINRA SIPC, 1 Broad Street Plaza, Glens Falls. And the New York State Caregiving and Respite Coalition, seeking volunteers aged 55 plus to support family caregivers in northern and central New York. Visit nyscrc/AmeriCorps.org.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Monday, December 16th. First up, New York counties can now provide families applying for childcare assistance with the subsidies while their applications are under review. Governor Kathy Hochul has signed legislation allowing counties to presume that the families are eligible when they apply. That means they'll be able to get the benefits within a couple days instead of potentially waiting weeks. Assemblymember Sarah Clark, a Rochester Democrat, is one of the legislation sponsors.
The eventual goal is once we get more counties to opt in, like Monroe County and all the others, then we can make it a requirement and make it more of a full statewide policy.
Each county in the state has the option to use what's known as presumptive eligibility. After initial review of income, the families can access up to 30 days of benefits while their applications are pending. A fourth Democrat has expressed interest in running for New York's congressional district seat next year. That's if current Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is confirmed as ambassador to the United Nations. Amy Feiereisel has more.
Rod Driscoll from Peru in Clinton County said in a press release that he's already contacted local party leaders about running for the seat. Driscoll has lived in the North Country since 1972. He attended Plattsburgh State University and spent his professional career as an educator. He taught government and economics at Ausable Valley High School and served for 10 years on the school board of Peru Central School District. Driscoll is also active in the local music scene and helped start Plattsburgh's Concerts in the Park series. Driscoll joins 3 others interested in the Democratic nomination: Paula Collins, who ran against Elise Stefanik in November's election, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Holden, and dairy farmer Blake Gendabian. On the Republican side, tech CEO Anthony Constantino has declared his intent to run, and about a half dozen others have publicly expressed interest, including Mark Molinaro, who lost his seat in New York's 19th district in November, and Joe Pinion, a former Newsmax host. For a special election to be triggered, current Congresswoman Elise Stefanik will have to be confirmed as UN ambassador by the Senate and quit her seat. Those are both expected to happen in early 2025. Amy Feiereisel, North Country Public Radio.
You probably have a favorite diner, one you grew up going to, or the place you get eggs every Sunday. They're a quintessential part of small-town American life. So what's it like to run one? That's today's North Country at Work story. Anna Williams-Bergen has more.
If you're driving through Blue Mountain Lake, you'll probably notice Chef Darrell's Mountain Diner. It's a shiny blue and white diner car restored to its 50s glory. And even though it's only been running a few years, the diner has developed quite a name for itself. That's due in no small part to its namesake, Chef Darrell Spencer himself.
A lot of people rave over the food at the diner. The secret is, I just listen to my clientele.
Spencer's cooking journey started back when he was a kid, growing up in Connecticut.
Cooking kept me out of trouble. When I was a little kid, I guess I was a little rough around the edges. So every holiday, my grandmother would come up, and she was my safe haven. She would call me in the kitchen and keep me out of trouble and started me popping green beans or doing a mac and cheese, and it just grew from there.
Spencer went to the Culinary Institute of America. He started one restaurant, then another, and was featured in cooking magazines. Spencer says he was a hotshot chef, but something was missing.
My mind wasn't set on the business. My ego got in the way. My pride got in the way. When I was cooking for myself, not for the customer.
Chef Darrell's Mountain Diner is the third restaurant he's owned. He says it's the hardest, but it's also his best work, the product of lessons learned from decades in the industry.
What's different with the diner is I listen. You know what I mean? Everyone raves over this biscuit and gravy. I don't know why. I used to go to diners a lot and get the biscuits and gravy and didn't understand why they served it because I didn't think it was that good. But what I did was I went around, I talked to everybody and figured out what they like, what they didn't like, and what they would like to see. I created this recipe and can't keep up with it.
Spencer took the same approach with his coffee.
Coffee's real important in a diner. Don't let no one tell you it's not. And I didn't want to take the hit for bad coffee. So what I did was have a coffee tasting. We invited everyone from the community who wanted to come. Some showed up with pastries, some brought cookies. And I brought my coffee guy in, and he did a couple demos, and I let them pick the coffee. And I don't get one complaint about that coffee. Everyone raves over it.
At the end of the day, Spencer says cooking good food is about that personal connection with the people who eat it.
You talk about diversity, and everyone has a story. If you can catch that story and hear what they're saying, you can build that recipe. It's not just ingredients, there's a story behind it.
Spencer uses social media to spread that story far beyond Blue Mountain Lake. He's bumped into followers all over, even visiting family back home in Connecticut.
My cousin Joey was introducing me to a couple of female friends, and his thing is, hey, do you know my cousin Darrell? One lady stands up and says, I only know one Darrell, and he's on Facebook, and I follow him. And lo and behold, she pulls up Chef Darrell. So I start laughing. You don't recognize me? Oh, my God, Chef Darrell.
So what does Chef Darrell himself like to eat?
My favorite to eat, Stewart's hamburgers. A lot of people put me down for it. But after cooking all day and putting out all those dishes, all I want is a simple meal and somebody else to cook it.
Spencer works long hours. He says he's usually up at 4:30, often working 18-hour days during the busy summer season. And he says he owes a lot of his success to the community, especially Blue Mountain Lake locals Betsy Folwell and Tom Warrington. They're the ones who restored the diner car and got it up and running before they found Spencer and asked him to buy the business.
Even before I came down here today, Betsy was helping me de-weed the planters. Sunday had an issue with the generator. Who do I call? Tom. They're my backbone.
Spencer says where he grew up, restaurant owners were big parts of their communities. That's what he wants for the diner. He says success is having everyone feel the same way about your business as you do.
Tell everybody to come get some love. We got a lot to give. That's all. Come see us at Chef Darrell's. Nothing but love.
Love and classic American comfort food. For North Country Public Radio's North Country at Work project, I'm Anna Williams-Bergen in Indian Lake.
North Country at Work is a project of NCPR that collects photos and stories about working life in our region. If you have a North Country at Work story in mind, we want to hear it. Just text the word NEXT to 315-978-6277. That's NEXT. Text it to 315-978-6277. You can also email us at work@ncpr.org. We have more news all the time on our website, ncpr.org. Music today by Michael Farley of Canton and Ben Sharon of Watertown. I'm David Summerstein, North Country Public Radio.